What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Jalen Talks Sports. It's the best time of the year for sports fans. The draft is tomorrow. I hope you're just as excited as I am. This is one of the most interesting draft classes we've had in a while, where it's not entirely predictable. Hopefully, they don't spoil the draft picks for me. I'm going to keep the noties off. But yeah, we're going to do our final NFL mock draft for the year. And let's get right into it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if you agree with who I picked for your team. I want you guys to understand that this is a predictive draft, not a what would Jalen do draft. Because if it was what I would do, it would look a lot different. Even though there's some Jalen picks in there. But let's get into it. So my first overall pick, Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami. Tennessee is grabbing a dynamic signal caller with dual threat capabilities, as people would say. He's the best quarterback in this draft class. Tennessee needs a quarterback. You feel your need, get it done. Second overall, Travis Hunter, wide receiver, DB from Colorado. I have him going to the Browns. He is a true unicorn, as GM Andrew Berry stated. I think Travis Hunter can be dynamic on either side of the field, and there's no quarterback worth taking at the second pick in this draft. So go and just get the best player in the draft, which is Travis Hunter. Third overall, Abdul Carter, edge, linebacker, Penn State. Abdul Carter is the best defensive player in this draft, with a really high upside potential. If you do not know this already, Abdul Carter has not played the edge position for all of his collegiate career. He was playing a lot of linebacker prior to this past season, and you saw what he did at edge this year, which means I think there's a lot of untapped potential with that kid, where we're only seeing a glimpse into what he could truly be with proper coaching, proper development, and serious focus at that one position. Fourth overall, Will Campbell, left tackle, LSU. The Patriots are looking like they're going to be taking Will Campbell. And as a Patriots fan, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that this is what we have to do. But at the same time, he fills a need that the Patriots have. He's the best tackle in the draft, in my opinion. And I think I'm not as worried about the arm length as people are worried about the arm length. For me, he played in the best conference in college football. And he was one of the best players in his position in the whole country. If it was really an issue, he would struggle in the best conference. He didn't. Next pick, Mason Graham, defensive tackle or D lineman from Michigan, going to the Jags. I've been hearing rumors that the Jags are either going to take Ashton Jeanty or they're trying to make teams trade up for Ashton Jeanty. And I think it's BS. I think it's a smoke screen. I think they're trying to bait the Raiders into trading up with the Patriots. And what that will do is secure a guy like Will Campbell for the Jaguars. That's not happening. Once they realize the Patriots aren't going to trade back because the options aren't much better than Will Campbell, they're just going to have to settle for Mason Graham and go bolster that D-line and improve your defense. Sixth overall, the man you've been waiting for, the boy out of Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, the best running back in this class. I like Ashton Jeanty because he's a perfect fit for the Pete Carroll offense. Pete Carroll is known for having star running backs, and that's what Ashton Jeanty can be for him and the Raiders. Versatile, explosive, great contact balance. I think he'll be great in the league. 7. Armand Membu, right tackle, Missouri. I'm taking Armand Membu, even though he still needs to develop a little bit, because Justin Fields needs a good O-line to be successful in the league. You saw what happened to Justin Fields in Chicago. We all did. And it's important to understand that it's more reasonable to get your line together before you get the weapons together. Because if the quarterback doesn't have time to throw, if the quarterback doesn't feel safe in his pocket, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to do things that he shouldn't do. Secure that line with Olu on the left and Membu on the right. And let's keep going, Number 8, Tedero McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. He's going to the Panthers here. There's a lot of smoke with Ted McMillan because some people are saying he's not good. Some people are saying he's not the best receiver in the class. BS. He is the best. He is the best receiver in this class. Yes, there's things he can work on. But for this Panthers offense, he fits perfectly. I see Dave Canales, the coach who was previously in Tampa Bay, seeing a guy like Ted McMillan as sort of a Mike Evans type player in his offense. And then you have Leggett, who you kind of use like a Godwin. No one said this, but I think that works. Bryce needs weapons. And McMillan's size, hands, and tracking ability makes him a great candidate to be a receiver 1 for the Panthers organization. Next pick, Calvin Banks from Texas. You be saying, why aren't you taking Shedeur Sanders? No, Shedeur, no. The Saints need to focus on getting the team together before they get the quarterback. If you think like me, and if you know anything about college football, you'll understand that the draft class in terms of quarterbacks is going to be way better next season. And all those guys you can get at 1 or 2 overall next year because you're going to suck this year are going to be better than Shedeur and probably Cam Ward. So you know what? Build a roster, get pieces that will help your future quarterback tank this season basically. And you'll be set up better for the future than if you take Shedeur. Number 10, Jalen Walker, edge/linebacker from Georgia. Jalen Walker is an explosive player. I was kind of sleeping on him in my last draft. But then I watched some of him. I watched some of his film. And I realized why he was being linked with the Patriots. He's pretty good. He surprised me. His tape surprised me. And Chicago needs help on the D-line in that edge position. And this guy's versatile. You can use him off ball and on ball. So he slots perfectly into that Detroit defense. Number 11, Will Johnson. Will Johnson, before all the injuries, was considered the best DB in the draft. I don't know if you remember the draft with Christian Gonzalez, where because of a little injury concern, he slid to the Patriots in the mid-teens, and he ended up being the best corner in that draft. Don't let that happen again with Will Johnson. He's perfect for the 49ers as he is an outside corner, and that's what they need because they lost Treverius Ward. So you get your replacement right here with the best corner in the draft, in my opinion, Will Johnson. Number 12, Matthew Golden, receiver from Texas, going to the Cowboys. If you asked me yesterday when I was making this, if I was going to do that, I would have said no because I was going to take Omari and Hampton. But I realized how stacked the running back class is. If you've listened to any draft expert speak about this draft class, they will say that the running back class is strong and you really don't need to attack it in the first round if you don't really have to. I think that the Cowboys can get a guy like Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins in the second round and fill that need. And you can strengthen the offense by getting the second best receiver in this draft, Matthew Golden, who's a great complement to CeeDee Lamb. So now my first trade is the Denver Broncos coming up from 20... Where were they? I forgot where they were. That's not important. They're coming up and they're going to make a trade. Yes, yeah, they were at 20. They're coming up and they're making a trade with the Dolphins. And they're going to come and take Omari and Hampton. What I've been hearing recently is the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton really love Omari and Hampton. Omari and Hampton is the second best running back in this draft class. I think if you sit at 20, someone else will go and take him. And if the Cowboys pass on him, you got to go pounce. You got to go get your guy. And the Denver Broncos are aggressive enough for me to believe they'll do this. They'll come up and they'll make a trade to get their guy at the running back position. My next pick to the Colts, this guy slid. And I understand why he slid. Because I didn't think he was worth a top 10 pick. Even though he is considered the best top 10. He's considered the top 10 prospect in the draft and the number 1 tight end. Last year, Brock Bowers slipped as well to the teams. It's normal. And I don't think Tyler Warren is near as good as Brock Bowers was. But Tyler Warren comes in to the Colts from Penn State. And he's going to be a reliable safety net for a guy like Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, whoever's starting in their games. You know, those guys who have struggled, those are guys who struggled with accuracy, consistency. And what you need is to provide them with a blanket where when I can't find Pittman, when I can't find Mitchell, when I can't find Josh Downs or Alex Pierce, I have my tight end and I trust him with the ball. And that's why I went with Warren. 15, the trade. So the Falcons go back to 21 and the Steelers come up to from 21 to 15 to take Shedeur Sanders. Finally, Shedeur Sanders gets picked. Why did I trade? Is probably what you're thinking. Maybe he would fall and they'd be able to just comfortably get him at 21. I have a sneaky suspicion that the Browns or the Giants will try to come back into the first round and take Shedeur. And that's why the Steelers need to go and just try to get him before that could become an issue and you get stuck with Jackson Dart. Because I don't think they're going to take Milroe now. So come and get Shedeur. Let him be your quarterback. I think he fits perfectly into that offense. He makes smart choices. Hopefully they build the line after they take Shedeur. Because Shedeur's biggest problem in his college career was his offensive line not being able to protect him. And then he makes dumb choices. Next pick to the Cardinals, Mykel Williams. And he is the edge rusher from Georgia. Why do I go Mykel? Mykel's a versatile pass rusher. He has a powerful frame and he has really good hands. He has a high floor and he has a high ceiling. The Cardinals need help on that D-line in their pass rushing game. And Mykel Williams is a ready-made prospect to come in and help that team. 17, Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M to the Bengals. Why do I go with Shamar Stewart? He has extremely high upside. The stats aren't always there to back it up. But with Shamar, he tested extremely well at the combine. And I think he still has a lot of growth that he needs to go through. You know about the contract situation with Trey Hendrickson. You don't know if he's going to be on your roster next year. And if he is, you don't know if he'll play. You need someone to fill in that void. Go get Shamar Stewart. And hopefully he turns into a star for you. 18. Mike Green, edge, Marshall. Going to the Seahawks. I go with Mike Green because he's underrated. And you know the Seahawks get these underrated guys and they turn them into stars. Mike Green led college football in sacks, I believe, last year. And the Seahawks need help in their pass rush game. So go and get Mike Green, who could be the best edge player in this draft day one. 19, Jahdae Barron, the corner from Texas. I know you guys have been waiting on Jahdae Barron. I have him going to the what's it called, the Buccaneers, because I think he's a perfect fit for Todd Bowles' scheme. You know, you can use Jade in the slot as a blitzing corner, which Todd Bowles really likes to use. Jade Barron is arguably the best corner in this draft, but I think he's a better fit for a team like the Bucks than he is for the 49ers. 20. Josh Simmons from Ohio State, the left tackle who was injured for a portion of last season. Some consider him to be the best tackle in this draft when healthy. I don't know if you know, but Teron Armstead, the tackle for the Dolphins, has recently retired. So you get your replacement in Josh Simmons, and he has extremely high upside to be the best tackle in this draft. And you get him at a calm 20th overall, and you just traded back. So that is perfect for the Dolphins. My next pick, 21. This is the rest of the Steelers trade. Jihad Campbell from Alabama, the linebacker. He's the best interior linebacker, off-ball linebacker, if you want to call it, in this draft. And I think Atlanta needs a lot of help in that linebacker room. Jihad Campbell comes in. He's a day one impact starter. He's a great leader already. Building block for your defense is what I would say. He's freaky athletic. He flies to the ball. And he's going to reinforce Atlanta's front seven. 22. I went Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan, reuniting with Coach Harbaugh. Why do I go Colston Loveland? Colston Loveland is a really fluid tight end. He kind of moves like a receiver. I don't know if you've watched him before. He kind of moves like a receiver. And I think Herbert needs another reliable safety target on that team. And I think Colston Loveland fills that need for you. You know, when you're not going to Ladd, you can find a guy like Colston Loveland. He's going to get the ball moving and move the chains for you and your team. Next pick, Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant from Michigan. He's a really big interior presence for the Wolverines this past season. He clogs the lanes. He's occasionally collapsing the pocket. The Packers like to build their front seven. They like to build in the trenches, and Kenneth Grant is a great piece to throw in there. 24. Nick Emanwari, safety from South Carolina. This is one of my favorite players in the draft. And he tested as the best athlete at the combine, I believe. This guy is freaky athletic. And he's aggressive. He's smart. He can play in the box, or he can roam in the deep parts of the field. You lost Cam Bynum. Harrison Smith is getting old. You use a guy like Emanwari to build for the future and secure your secondary. 25. Unfortunately, he didn't fall. Josh Emmons didn't fall to the Texans, so I went with Josh Connerly. Josh Connerly is the next best tackle you can get in this draft. And with the way the Texans kind of blew up their O-line this year, you need to, build it so your quarterback doesn't die. You saw what happened with Bryce Young in his first year, and you saw what happened with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud had a better O-line and better weapons, and that's why he succeeded. When that O-line got weaker in his second year, C.J. Stroud didn't look as good. Make sure you're protecting your young quarterback so he can be what we all believe he can be, and that is a star. Maxwell Harrison, corner from Kentucky. I have him going to the Los Angeles Rams. He's a ball-hawking corner. His really quick feet, excellent anticipation. He's a perfect piece to that Rams defense. Last year, they built up the interior part of the line. The interior part of the defense, getting pieces like Braden Fisk and Jared Verse to complement the rest of the guys they had there. So once you build the trenches, it's important to build outside the trenches and solidify the exterior of your defense. And that's what Maxwell Hairston can do to this roster. Next guy, Walter Nolan. D lineman or defensive tackle from Ole Miss going to the Ravens. He has a extremely high upside to be a great interior lineman for the future. He plugs holes and gaps, and he's really good at getting pressure on the quarterback. Ravens will be able to reload, retool, and improve their defense by adding a high upside piece with Walter Nolan. My next guy, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon. Derek Harmon is an interior disruptor. He has really powerful hand and burst from the line. He's a great rotational piece to help the Detroit defense and, help them build the trenches, because that's where their identity lies, in the trenches. My next guy, Donovan Owuzurike, I think I said that, or Aruzawaku. I don't know how to say his name. The edge guy from Boston College. He's explosive, and he gets to the quarterback. You have a void that you need to fill in Commanderland after you lost Chase Young and Montez Sweat in the past couple seasons. This is your new edge, your new replacement, your new guy to help strengthen your already really strong defense. Next guy, Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia. He's smart and he's rangy. You need a here to Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. And I think you find that in the safety out of Georgia, Malachi Starks. Georgia. Shout out Norman. 31, I made a trade. So the Browns come back into the first round from 33, and they take quarterback Jalen Milroe. I do this because he has tons of upside and he has a strong arm. He just needs technical refinement. If you don't know, Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, was previously the offensive coordinator for Alabama during Jalen Milroe's breakout season. Yeah, his breakout season before this past season where he struggled a little bit more. His best play was with Tommy Rees as his play caller. Bring him back with Tommy Rees and then put him with another amazing offensive mind in Kevin Stefanski. You could help this guy develop into what you want him to become. 32, James Pierce, edge, Tennessee. If you know anything about Howie Roseman and the Eagles, they just take the best player. They like to take the best player, and I think James Pierce is the best player available. If you ask people a year ago, James Pierce was a prospect considered to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Yeah, that was a little jumping of the gun, but I still think he's worthy of a first round pick, and the Eagles clean up everyone's mess and take him. I did the first 2 picks of the second round because of the trade I made at the end. So the Chiefs are going to get Tyler Booker, offensive guard, or left guard from right guard. Left guard, right guard, whatever he plays. He's a guard from Alabama, the best guard in this draft. You lost Joe Thuney in this past offseason. You traded him to Chicago. So you fill that need, that void, and bring in Tyler Booker to protect your franchise quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. And then last pick, I did 34. Jackson Dart, quarterback, Ole Miss, going to the Giants. You didn't take Shedeur in the first round. You didn't trade up. Milroe's not there anymore. Shadeur's not there anymore. And Ward's not there anymore. And the next best quarterback in the draft to me is Jackson Dart. Go get him, let him develop and learn behind a guy like Russell Wilson. And he'll be ready to go next year for you. That is all the picks I have for this mock draft. Hopefully, I get most of these right. If I don't, free reign to slander me in the comments. Actually, don't slander me. But let me know what you guys have as your first round picks. Let me know who you guys took for your team if you don't agree with my pick for your team. And I'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you guys for watching.